Next, we have a presentation from American Pacific Borates with the ticker code ABR. ABR is a company developing its Fort Cady Borate mine in California. To tell us more, I will hand you over to the CEO and Managing Director, Henri Tausch. Good morning, Henri.
Thank you, Jane. Yeah, happy to give everyone an update. I see we have a good audience here. So I tried to hit the highlights of our brief presentation. We only have 10 minutes. So American Pacific Borate is listed at the ASX, and we will be listed at the NASDAQ in a few months under our new name, 5E Advanced Materials Inc. This is something, next slide. Yeah, so this is our corporate summary. So we are excited. Our market cap is about $500 million, a little bit more based on the share price. We got about $50 million in the bank. And I'm really excited. If you see at the bottom now, we have a complete new US-based management team in place now to work on our exciting project, which I'll tell you more about. So borates is, so I actually compare it with the WD-40. We use borates and boron in our day-to-day life. You can see some of the applications here. And I'm really excited to, if you see this, it's actually in some of the energy transition and decarbonization applications as well. So everything what Brad was talking about, wind turbines, solar, boron is in there. So this is our investment thesis. So in short, we have the only global permitted new source of boron coming to the market, which is very exciting. The boron market is a growing market. You've seen the applications, and it's actually, the growth is accelerated by these mega trends related to clean energy, electric transportation, and food security. The market and supply is constrained, specifically in the US where we are, and I'll tell you more about it later. And we are in California right now, and we're now exciting about the US listing with a world-class US-based management team in place now. Now, what is boron, right? And if you look at the picture, I think it explains why it is so scarce. You need to have an inland evaporated water body, and you need to have volcanoes and a fault line. And you can already imagine that that's not everywhere. So you'll find it in California, in the Mojave Desert. You find it in Turkey, and only in a few other places in the world. And now, as such, it's actually classified by the US and the EU as a strategic element, which is really exciting. We are in the US at the right place there. Now, you can see that key applications again, and so I showed you that on the first slide. So this is our project, our Fort Cady project. We're in between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. So we got all the permits in place. The infrastructure is there. We're close to a pipeline, power. We have an ESG footprint as well that we're working on, and we're working on an integrated project of boron, boric acid, SOP, and advanced boron materials. So this is our resource. So we have about 14 megatons hydroboric acid. As you can see, lithium is there as well, and with the current lithium prices and the new extraction technology is actually attractive, so we're looking at that as well. We have a very interesting process, which I'll explain at the next slide. And in terms of timing, next year in 2022, we'll have a small-scale operation ready to go. So this is our operation. So you see in the middle, a solution mining will inject a low percentage of hydrochloric acid, which is a byproduct of the SOP plant, which you see on the left. So we build a boric acid plant, and what's really exciting is on the right that our focus really is on the boron specialty materials, which is higher value, higher margin, higher pricing, and many applications. So this is an interesting slide, and it tells the whole story. So if I start on the left, this is the current market. It's about 4.5 megatons per annum of boric acid equivalent. And you can see that about 70% comes from Turkey, from Etimaden, which is a government-owned entity. Rio Tinto in the US has probably another 10-15%. And there's a few others in South America and spread across Asia Pacific. So, and you can see on the left, the existing market is mostly our day-to-day needs, glass, fertilizers, detergents, etc. But what is really, really exciting is on the right. The last couple of years, some new markets have opened up due to energy transition, EVs, energy efficiency, etc. So we expect that in the next 10 years, there will be another 2.5 megatons per annum incremental market opportunities. And if you look at the supply, it's actually constrained. So Etimaden has a large resource, and they can still increase their supply. Rio Tinto is actually declining. If you look at their outputs in the last couple of years, they're actually declining, and they are in the US. Our operation for Fort Cady is only about 100 miles away from Rio Tinto. So if you look at that and all these strategic new opportunities for boron in the US, we're at the right place at the right time. So I think the US would like to buy locally for these strategic materials, and having a new source in the US and California is really, really good. Now, these are milestones. So we're building out our team. We have the US-based executive team in place. We're hiring the second and third level. We're focusing on new boron products, higher value, higher margin. We're optimizing our project to make it more efficient and create more value, and excited to be listed in the US on the NASDAQ, which we expect for early next year. Next slide, and I think this is my final slide. So I want to summarize again our investment thesis. So we are the only a permitted new source of boron coming to the market, which is really exciting. We play in a market that is growing, and it will grow even faster because of the decarbonization. Supply is constrained, specifically in the US, and they like to buy American for critical resources. And we're building out a world-class management team, and of course the US listing on the NASDAQ, which will happen early next year, is exciting as well. This is my presentation, so I'll open it up for any questions, Jane.
Thank you for that, Henri. We've actually had a few questions come through from a Twitter attendee that's a little bit detailed, so let me see if I can pull it together. So is MP Materials a good comparison, given their proximity to Fort Cady? And how is the US valuing MP Materials?
Yeah, MP Materials is probably our closest, well, I would say a competitor, but a peer. They've gone through a similar path as we have. The only difference is they are actually valued a lot more than we are, and they're focusing on advanced products as well, rare earths. So I think it's a very good peer to look at. It also demonstrates that I think we are undervalued, and if you compare MP Materials with us, I think you can calculate what our value should be.
Well, thank you, Henri. That's all we've got time for today. As a shareholder, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening over the next coming weeks.
Thank you so much, Jen.